Good morning. How are you today? Welcome to day 2 of YouTube math. So thank goodness we have this cool technology, right? Makes me cool because the technology is cool. At least that's what I think. All right, well, let's get started. We are doing 5.2. So first thing I need to do, let myself in from the waiting room. And then I'll share my screen. So I know you guys had a lot of things that you were supposed to turn in when you returned. Hopefully you turned those into the red baskets. If not, you've still got time because I'm not there, right? And then make sure that you are writing down your assignments on your gold card, and so I can stamp them when I come back as well. All right, so here we are. 5.2 classwork. First one here we see is to solve. Oh, I've got to flip my. All right, I need 2 hands. Flip it on around. And whoops, I am ready to go. All right, number 1 says to solve. We are doing 4 times 2x minus 5 plus 8 equals -2 times 6 minus 4x. I almost wrote too big. Got it all on there. So what we're doing right here, it says to solve. I see a couple areas where we need to distribute. So we're distributing here and here. And then over here, the -2. All right, so 4 times 2x, whoa, it's going to give us 8x plus a positive times a negative gives us a -20 plus 8 equals -2 times 6 gives us -12. Negative times a negative is going to be a positive 8x. Now we have to combine like terms. So when we look at this, a little highlighter. So right here, I have a -20 and a positive 8 that can be combined. Brings us down to 8x plus the -20 is bigger. So we are going to have -12 equals -12 plus 8x. Do you see something? This is in our homework yesterday. So hopefully you recognize it. Let's add the opposite and get the 8x out of there. Leaves us with -12 equals -12. Are they the same? Yes, which means therefore we have infinitive solutions. Infinitive. Yay! All right, so remember, if you have infinitive solutions, it means if you were to graph it, they'd actually fall on the same line. Erase. Cool. Hope you guys had a great day yesterday, and I hope you are getting ready for a great day today. Beautiful weather, right? I cannot believe it's December. We're getting up close to 70 degrees, so that's pretty nice. I love the crisp morning and the nice warm afternoon. So yeah, crazy. It's Christmas, right? All right. Number 2 says which function has the greatest rate of change. So rate of change is slope, and we're simply finding which of these has the biggest slope. Okay, so we can look at A right here, and just looking at it is in slope-intercept form, which we can easily see that for A, M equals 4/3. Now for B, we have an XY table. So we have X and Y, and we have our, let's see here, 0, 4, and 6 is our X, -1, 5, and 8 is the Y. So when we're looking at this, we want the change in Y over the change in X. And I write that every time because this XY table has the X on top, but it's always the rise over the run. Okay, so our change in Y, Let's go 8 minus 5, so y minus y over x minus x, 6 minus 4, and that's going to give us 3 over 2. Okay, so A has a slope of 4/3. B has a slope of 3/2. Okay, so looking at those, it's both over 1. We're going to have to say, okay, which one is bigger? All right, which we will worry about that after we do C. So on my C, I can write it right on the paper. When you're doing yours on graph paper or binder paper, just you can redraw that graph, or you can write M equals rise over run. That's fine. And we're going to count it. Okay, so our bottom point right here is at negative, that looks like -1, -2. And our top point, look, I tried to squish it in there, didn't I? Is at 1, 2. And we're simply going to count. Okay, so we're gonna go from this bottom one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So our rise is 4 over, and we're going to run 1, 2, which equals 2. Now we were talking about, or I guess I was talking about, which is bigger, 4/3 or 3/2, which we could easily figure out. However, we want to see which one has the greatest rate of change. C, the slope is 2, which we know is bigger than 4/3 and 3/2. So the biggest rate of change is C. And yeah, so that one's cool. All right. Go ahead and I'll erase all my scribbles, and we'll move right along to number 3. All right. There we go. Number 3 says, name a pair of alternate interior angles. Okay, so we're looking at it. We want to have on the inside. So what we have is we have 2 parallel lines right here. A lot of times, oops, you will see them designated with these little hash marks. That means that those 2 are parallel. And then this line right here is called the transversal. So when it transverses or goes across parallel lines, then we have exterior alternative angles, interior alternate angles. And what this is looking for is name a pair of alternate interior angles. There's actually 2 pairs. So if we look at the alternate, means opposite, we see 4 and 5. I'm sorry, 4 and 6, because those are going to cross over this way. Yeah, erase that one. So let's use my little highlighter. So we have 4 and 6, and 3 and 5. And here's how you would write it. So this is number 3 up here. We're going to say angle 4. Do you guys remember what this little symbol means? Means congruent. So it's pretty much the same as. And that little squiggle means for the most part. All right, but they are equal. And angle 3 is congruent to angle 5. Right? And of course, that is over in 4E in your red resource folder. Okay. Number 4, of course, one of my favorites, Pythagorean. So what is the equation of Pythagorean theorem? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So I want to remind you, C is directly across from the right angle. I don't know, it looks like kind of like an arrow. So 5 is our C. So we're going to say 5 squared gives us A. A is our unknown, and B is 4 squared. So A and B are on either side of the right angle. All right, so if we're going to just work that out and solve for A, A is our unknown. 4 times 4 is 16. Remember, when you are squaring things, you are doing it times itself, equals 5 times 5 is 25. To solve for A, we need to get our numbers on the same side. So we're going to add the opposite to both sides. 25 take away 16 or plus a negative 16 is 9. And then we're just going to find the square root of both. So that means A equals 3. So remember, I had said this a couple times. So these are the easiest, I guess, numbers of a Pythagorean theorem, and you'll see them all the time, but it is a triangle that has the sides of 3, 4, 5. Don't look at my squares and my scale, how I drew that, because that's off, but A equals 3. All right, and that finishes our classwork, and that brings us to our main assignment, our math work. And hopefully when you look at this, you're like, yes, I got this. So this is what we've really been focusing on this year. So I hope you do have it. It says, put the following equations in slope-intercept form. Of course, slope-intercept form or function form. And when it says function, remember it's f of x. So a function of x equals, and f of x is y, by solving for y. Okay, so of course, let's see here. Well, we'll write it big in purple. We are putting all of these into our slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, let's do green. We haven't written in green yet. Hello, there it goes. Oh, it's still purple. Wow. Okay, so number 1, our example. Yes, you need to do the example on your paper. So number 1 is 2y plus 4x equals 6. And when we say solve for y, it just means that we have to get y by itself. So it's y equals, and then put it into the mx plus b. Make sure that it does go in the mx plus b rather than b plus mx. And that's just to have a standard form. So it always looks the same. You always know where to find your slope and find your y-intercept. In fact, we're going to make sure we do that on each of these problems as well. Okay, so to get y by itself, let's get the 4x to the other side. And we're going to do that by adding the opposite. So plus negative 4x on both sides leaves us with 2y equals negative 4x plus 6. And then we're going to divide each thing by 2. And that gets y all by its lonesome. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. But wait, I want you to do more. Okay, so this is our y equals mx plus b form. What I would like you to do is identify your slope and your y-intercept. So easy, right? So in this one, our m is negative 2, and our y-intercept is 3. All right, so that is your answer for number 1. And let's see if I can erase and leave my slope-intercept form. Almost, there it is. Okay, number 2. 3x plus y equals 8. Hopefully you've gotten to the point when you see a problem like this, you say, oh, so easy. I just need to move the 3x because the y does not have a coefficient. It's already by itself. So we are going to add the opposite on each side. That leaves us with y equals negative 3x plus 8. So that is our slope-intercept equation. And then, of course, you're going to say, my slope is nice, negative, and my y-intercept is 8. Pretty easy peasy, lemon squeezy, right? All right, keep going. If you would like, you can pause the video and work on your own. Test your knowledge, see how you're doing, and then play and check your answers. Another way that you can do that is to simply mute my beautiful melodic voice and do your work on your paper and glance up to check your answers. or you can just keep working right alongside with me. Okay? All right. I have to remember which numbers we're on. It really helps me if I cross them out. So we've done 1, we've done 2. All right. Number 3. 6x minus 3y equals 9. Okay. We want to get y by itself. So let's get the 6x out of there. Add the opposite to both sides. That leaves us with, don't forget your symbol here, negative 3y equals negative 6x plus 9. So if you're not in the habit yet, look how big my negative symbols are. Make those nice and big so you don't miss them, okay? All right, so in life, focus on the positive. In math, make sure you also focus on the negative. All right, divide everything by negative 3. Okay, so hopefully some of you are looking back. I think it was chapter 2 where these negative symbols tricked several of you during the test. So keep track of it. Hopefully you're like, oh yeah. All right, so this leaves us with y equals, so negative divided by a negative turns them to a positive. So that's going to be 2x plus a positive divided by a negative gives us a negative 3. Okay, so our slope, that's our equation. Our slope is positive 2, and our y-intercept is negative 3. And you can put that just right next to your equation. I'm just a great big writer on this screen, so I put it a little bit up. Okay, so that one was number, what number am I on? Oh, number 3. Look, I even wrote it down. Woo-wee. All right, 3, done. Okay. Almost there. There we go. Over to number 4. Number 4, look at, it's messing us up because it has them flip-flopped, but that's okay. See if you remember what to do. So number 4 says 8 equals 2y minus 10x. First thing I'm going to do is I am just going to flip-flop this entire equation. So I'm going to put my 2y over here and my 8 over here. And I want you to look to see, do you agree it's the same thing? So now I have 2y minus 10x equals 8. Okay, so it's the same thing. I just switched which side the equal sign was on. In that way, I can match my y equals mx plus b. Now, absolutely, you could solve it in that form, but this just helps keep it in line, makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so now I'm going to add the opposite. So of course, this is plus a negative 10x. So then when I add the opposite to both sides, I'm going to add a positive 10x. That leaves me with 2y equals 10x plus 8. Divide everything by 2. Leaves me with y equals 5x plus 4. So there's my slope-intercept form. My slope is positive 5, and my y-intercept is 4. So I hope that as you are identifying slope and y-intercept, that you are doing just the coefficient. When we first started this, I know it was easy to make all of slope be 5x, but x is its own. So hopefully you recognize that x and y, that's our coordinates for when we're plotting it on the graph. The slope, or how we move, is simply 5. Well, let me cross out number 4. All right, now I'll erase it. There we go. Okay. And now number 5. Number 5 is 12x minus 4y equals 28. We're going to take the 12x to the other side by adding the opposite, which is a negative 12x. Don't forget this negative 4y. So there's my negative 4y equals negative 12x plus 28 divided by negative 4. Leaves y equals negative divided by a negative, makes them both positive. So that will be 3x plus positive divided by a negative is a negative 7. That's my slope-intercept. Slope is 3, y-intercept negative 7. So you will have an assignment where you're actually graphing these. You would begin your graph at negative 7, that's on the y-axis. Then you would move up 3 and run 1. Moving along to number 6. No. Sometimes you can like do a circle around what you're erasing and then tap the middle, it all erases. I tried it, didn't work. That's all right. Okay, number 6. Oh, it's going to try and trick me again. 6 equals 9x minus 3y. So here I could flip it around, but here's what I notice. I notice I have a negative 3y, and I know to move that to the other side, I add the opposite. So let me show you how to do it without flip-flopping the equation. So I know that I want my y on the left-hand side, so I'm going to add the opposite to both sides. That gives me 3y plus 6 equals 9x. Well, 6 is going to be my y-intercept, and that needs to be on the other side. Add the opposite. Leaves me with 3y equals 9x plus negative 6 divided by 3. Y equals 3x plus negative 2. And of course, my slope is 3, my y-intercept negative 2. All right, so I was able to move it, even though the y started out on the right-hand side of the equal sign. Now, it could work if we put mx plus b equals y, but for this year, I want to really just stick with our general formula. All right, done with that. Let's get on to number 7. All right, almost. There's all my negative signs left. Okay, number 7. 2y plus 6x equals 8. Solving for y, so it matches my y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to add the opposite to get my 6x on the other side. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other. That leaves me with 2y equals negative 6x plus 8. To get y by itself, I now have to divide by 2. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Y equals negative 3x plus 4. My m is negative 3, and my b is 4. All right. Hopefully you're getting back into the swing of slope-intercept form, or you never left the swing and this was easy peasy assignment for you. We're going to go on. There is one more problem. Number 8, we are talking about the school chorus or the school choir, and it has a wonderful full sound because there are 63 students in the school chorus. Okay, so we are combining boys and girls for this co-ed choir, and it says that we have a total of 63. So let's see, I'm wiggling it all over. So we know that let's have X is boys. Is that right? And Y is girls. There are 11 more boys. That's right. I think I got my X's and Y's correct. So we know that X plus Y is 63 because there's a total of 63 students in the choir. And then we know that there are 11 more boys than girls. So that means our girls, which is Y, is 11 more than boys. So here's our boys, but it's 11 more. Wait. Did I do it backwards? There are 11 more boys than girls. That means that this, oh, I mixed them up. Oh, for crying out loud. So watch what I'm going to do because I'm lazy. I don't want to have to solve for Y over here. I want it to already be solved. So I'm simply over here going to change boys are Y and girls are X. See how I did that? All right. And so that means that boys, there are 11 more boys than girls. So here's our girls. That means boys are girls plus 11. Woo! Almost had to do a couple extra steps there. All right. So that equation is all set. Y equals mx plus b form. It's a system of equations. So, and we are just, if we could graph them, and then we can see where they intersect, or we can just solve it this way algebraically. Remember, I call it algebraically, or you can giraffe it. All right, so first thing we need to do is get this one into y equals mx plus b form. All we have to do is get the x on the other side. So we're going to add a negative x to both sides. That leaves us with y equals negative x plus 63. Okay, so first step was to get both equations into y equals mx plus b form, or slope-intercept form. Second step is to set them equal to each other. So now we have negative x plus 63, and we set it equal to x plus 11. When we do that, we get rid of one variable. So now we are solving for x. So we're solving for the number of girls, and then we will plug that value in to this equation here to see how many boys there are. Okay, so let's first get rid of this negative x, add the opposite. So now we have 63 equals 2x plus 11. Add a negative 11 to get our combine like terms, plus negative 11. So then 3 minus 1 is 2, 6 minus 1 is 5. So 52 divided by 2 is going to give us 26. 26 equals x. So that is our number of girls. And here it is. Yes. And we're going to plug it in up here. So then our boys is 26 plus 11. So y equals 37. Yes, and there it is. And the way we would write that is as an ordered pair. XY, so go 26, 37. So if you had graphed those two lines, then that would have been the point, whoops, dropped my stylus, the point at which the two lines intersected. Kadoke. Got it. Okay, so that is it for 5.2. And leave the meeting there. And we're set. So 5.2, hopefully you got that all done. And I really hope that it's easy for you. And this is just a great refresher. So hope you're doing well as you go through your day. Remember who you are, remember what you stand for, and lead by example. Bye-bye.